We've had one best of three, but more is better. And Steadfast, this one is designed to make us as confused as possible because it's herO versus HeroMarine. And, you know, that's, they share a name right there. And obviously it's different races. It's Protoss versus Terran. It's arguably the best Protoss player in the world right now versus a Terran who delights in killing Protoss players. So we got all those storylines. So what's your favorite?
That is a good question. These two players have not played a whole lot, but when they have played, generally speaking, the matches have been quite close. And they've almost only played, despite, you know, minus a weird 2-week stint where herO decided to play the ESL EU. Besides that, they've only pretty much played in big tournaments. Now, granted, you know, Team Liquid map contest, not the biggest of deals, but this is going to be really interesting to see because, like you said, they're both really good at what they do. Now, herO, I do think he's struggled a little bit in PvT recently, relatively. He's a little bit wild and all over the place, kind of like a, you know, kind of like an untamed Bronco. Whereas HeroMarine, I mean, he is a ladder hero and a really smart player. And I mean, for a very long time, the European ladder was so heavily Protoss focused. And so he just turned into the ultimate, like you said, Protoss killer. And it's set us up now for this very cool match.
Yeah, and of course, we also have to talk about that we're playing on a version of the game where the bug is fixed. So Extended Thermal Lance Colossus, they have 9 range playing on this. And that means that, well, so we got HeroMarine and Showtime, I guess, is the match to watch, which is going to happen later, I assume. Okay. But again, we're talking about herO versus HeroMarine here. And the thing, again, with Colossus having 2 range, right? That's super important. That does mean that these kind of Colossus openers might not be as powerful. And Steadfast, you were talking about the fact that this is, you know, this heavily pushing Terran. Well, this patch works really well for HeroMarine because it's Protoss that have been struggling from like 6 to 8 minutes, and that's where HeroMarine has been by far the most dominant player.
Yeah, that's where he gets a lot of his wins is, you know, kind of before the 11-minute mark, before Protoss can establish that 4th base. That doesn't mean he's not able to win past that point. It just means that's where he's at his deadliest.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we're absolutely going to see that once again. It's going to be really interesting to see what happens between these two players, and I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, and apparently we're getting ready to get where we're in the game right now, which is really awesome. So on the upper left, in the red, on somewhat of a Terran map here, he's from Mouse, he's HeroMarine.
And his opponent, spawning down in the bottom right for Dragon Kitesy Gaming, it is herO.
And so we talked about, okay, you know, big gate pushes. Well, Babylon is probably one of the better maps. Maybe not the best, that might more be a Dragon Scales or something, but this is one of the smaller maps in the pool, right? It's, I think, a 34-second rush distance. It's a map that does allow for that Terran aggression as quick as possible. And Steadfast, you know, we're talking about, okay, you know, that Colossus range. I know we talked on Real Talk Strategy about how it, you know, it probably was a good thing, even if it was a bug. And we did start to see more Phoenix Colossus type of styles off of that. But again, this is +2 range on Extended Thermal Lance that has been fixed. So where do you think herO goes here? Probably not Phoenix Colossus, maybe not against the HeroMarine. Like, what do you expect to see out of the Protoss player?
That is a really good question. I think there's a lot of options. I think that herO is the kind of player that will do literally anything. He will do 2-base storm drops. He'll do, you know, blink openers. He will do charge lot openers. He will do that Phoenix Colossus. He'll also do the new Robo first into Phoenix with a quick War Prism. He is really just a wild card out there. And I'm I'm going to be keeping my eye on things already because the openers for both players are already a little bit interesting. We got Reactor first out of HeroMarine, whereas herO elected to go for the Gas first into Nexus before Cybernetics Core. So really banking on the fact that his opponent won't go for a Proxy Reaper, and even going Sentry first here, getting that new Ferrari Sentry with the speed boost and the fact that it builds faster. And because he went Gas first, he's able to get a quick Twilight Council as well and still continue to build that second gateway unit. Very interesting opener from herO. And yeah, I like that he's busting out something a little bit different.
Yeah, it's interesting. I feel like a lot of this is playing the player, like maybe not the race, because HeroMarine, he's got his timings. He's got those the 6 to 8 minute pushes, right? Obviously, that's what he's known for. And then he's got like a 1.5 base, right? This kind of Cyclone 1-1 anti-Stargate kind of type of timing. But if you're not going Stargate early, and he's probably not going to hit you with a proxy because that's just really not how HeroMarine plays for the most part, it makes sense. Play greedy. Get that Nexus before core. Get that quick gas there. Move into Twilight. Get your Robo eventually. But the herO is playing like distinctly against how HeroMarine tends to play, which is kind of cool. Now, of course, HeroMarine does want to make something happen. He's got 6 Marines on the map, rallying maybe 7 or 8, and certainly he doesn't have stim. And I don't know how much this is going to get done here. We have an Adept. We have a potential force field. There's a shield battery. Yeah, I mean, HeroMarine wants to put pressure on, but there's a full wall Steadfast. This build works for HeroMarine if there's no wall, which is not all that uncommon, but there is one. And on top of that, it's going to be Dark Templar on the way here. herO just pulling out all the stops in this first game.
Yeah, the only thing herO really needed there to stop that push was the shield battery. And of course, he did see the push coming with that Phoenix. And he, like you said, had the wall, so there was no opportunity for HeroMarine to run by, even though there wasn't that many units. Yeah, just a solid start overall. Now, scan coming in from HeroMarine. Okay.
Ooh.
All right, I love that.
Go.
God, that is so smart. Oh man. As soon as the scan expires, he cancels the Dark Shrine, goes for the Templar Archives. Oh, that is cool.
And that's something hero's been playing with recently. Against TY in the GSL, he played, I think against another Terran as well, he played Storm Drops, which is not something that you see all that often, for good reason. It's expensive, it's easily countered. But if your opponent's not expecting it, and if they're expecting Dark Templar, well, all of a sudden there, you drop storms on their head, it can be very powerful. But for now, it's a Warp Prism. It's just a couple of Adepts, 3 Adepts. They one-shot SCVs. HeroMarine, maybe not prepared for this, maybe dealing with something else. So he's gonna lose just a couple SCVs there. And, well, actually, I guess 2 Adepts and a Stalker. But at this point, I mean, yeah, he's getting a lot of workers. HeroMarine can't easily deal with this. He can shut down the Warp Prism, but there's no anti-air. And there we go. Storm and Charge on the way. And if HeroMarine drops that Lightning in the positions that he wants, I mean, HeroMarine is not, this is not a quick ghost build. This is gearing up for that timing, for that +1 stim timing. And that is just not something that HeroMarine is kind of building into defending, although getting the 2 Adepts is really nice.
Yeah, the first phase of that, though, was an uncharacteristically slow reaction from HeroMarine. He kind of just left the SCVs there for a little bit, lost a few more than he should have. Now, herO doing, unfortunately, what herO sometimes does, where he sticks around and tries to get a little bit too greedy. Zest used to do this all the time, too, where you're like, you go a little bit too far, and it kind of ends up looking silly sometimes. HeroMarine, by the way, did get supply blocked a little bit at 76, I believe. Was that the 78? 70? I wasn't paying attention to the exact number, but he did get supply blocked. High Templar going down to an auto turret. That is never supposed to happen. Oh, and that is a gigantic pickoff there. That was one of the early High Templar. Oh my goodness, you do not want to lose that. And now HeroMarine will know about this. And now the question is, do you go 3rd Command Center? Do you go 5 racks with a Ghost Academy? What do you do? I think you just build the 3rd Command Center, continue with your push, and just be more mindful of the storms, get some mines, and go from there.
Yeah, you're right. It's not only is it just that powerful defensive tools. Oh, he's got, I love this, though. Look at that. HeroMarine's not ready. Now, it doesn't get every Marine, but it softens the hell out of all of them. And there are no medevacs with that army just yet. So that is a massive move coming out of herO. But now he's going to get, I think he gets the Archon. No. Okay, the Archon is going to get saved in the last second. No shields, though. Even still, the fact that, Marine's on the Warp Prism there. Archon's dead. You got to get the Warp Prism out. And it seems like he will be able to do so. Gee, that Warp Prism barely stays alive. But now the problem is, right, you've spent two Storm. Actually, a lot of this is going to get healed up now because there's a medevac here. And those High Templar, you lost one of your defensive ones. hero's goal was to have 2 High Templar and a Warp Prism across the map getting damage. And then 2 at home defensively to make sure the push didn't happen. And now this is a much clearer position for HeroMarine to have to fight into. So he's counterattacking, it looks like. Actually, that's not a big flank. That's just running across the map because HeroMarine is sieged up in a position that he's not likely to get much done.
No, he is not. Now, Widowmines, ooh, they go off, not doing a ton right there. He needed those to do more. This is looking very dangerous. Hero targeting the missile turret for some reason. Storm does come on in. Big Gabe is hesitating in the middle of the map. I'm not sure if he's thinking about going across or not. There we go. There is the double drop into the main base. Recall does come on in. It's a very weird scenario where they both kind of hesitated a little bit, but it will be HeroMarine coming out of this with a decent supply lead. He picked off 9 probes. The 3rd command center was not canceled, and Hero really didn't get any meaningful damage while having to use his recall. And yeah, he's kind of a little bit on the back foot now. That was a nice, I would say, 45 seconds, maybe even 30 seconds for Big Gabe right there, despite a little bit of hesitation.
Yeah, it really was. Now he's going to reap that bounty. The Cyber's going to go down. The Gateway's dead. Might even be arranged in the pylon, I'm not sure, but now Storm gets dropped on the tanks, but who cares? Here comes the army, though, from the north side, and that's going to be a pretty solid Storm as well, and that Storm actually should clean it up at the end of the day, but there's a drop in the main. You got to deal with that one, too. Hero cleans this up, kind of, but it doesn't feel like it's all that. He's going to get an Immortal as well. This doesn't heal, even as much as this is a cleanup for Hero, it doesn't feel nearly as clean as it could have been. Like, yes, okay, in fairness, HeroMarine now only up 20 army supply, not 30. Hero sweeps HeroMarine from that side, but I don't know, it still didn't feel all that great.
It was pretty decent for Hero, I think. It definitely looked clunky. It failed the eye test, but HeroMarine just now landing his 3rd command center. Hero was mining on 3 bases for that whole time, and now he goes for the double Robo Colossus transition. I do think Hero could have done a little bit of a better job there. You know, maybe he juggles the Immortals a little bit more, and he survives with like 4 Immortals there instead of just the 2 that he's got left over. Maybe he could have targeted the tanks down more quickly with those Immortals, but that's the thing about what HeroMarine was doing, is he was kind of everywhere. Storms, all the SCVs are all stacked up. Huge Storm drop. Grabs 13 SCVs. Now on the other side of the map, 5 probes do go down, I think, to the auto turret, but that was definitely better for Hero. Now, he is still in an awkward position where his tech transition has not yet paid off. I think maybe you just go double Disruptor to try and get those units out quickly. Let's see, Hero. Okay, it is going to be Colossus.
Oh, man, and Vikings I don't like this Viking or this Colossus transition right now. There are already several Vikings on the map. HeroMarine can make more, so this doesn't feel all that great. Great feedback there on one of the, it doesn't matter though, because the EP goes down anyways. And this army from HeroMarine, I mean, great moves on the Storm drop from Hero. Absolutely, it buys him time, but you just got to give this 4th base up. It feels like that Storm is solid, but the Warp Prism is going to find itself shut down, so no more Storms where that came from. Ooh. There's another one, but it just doesn't matter. There's too much beef here, Steadfast. This 4th base is just not going to find anything. And again, High Templars get sniped. The Storms are nice, but there's no follow-up damage. So this army, it forces the cancel. And HeroMarine, at this point, Hero may have bought the time, right? The Colossus are out, but he found his value. He found what he wanted.
Yeah, that's those Storms were way more effective than I feel that they maybe should have been. But still, it wasn't quite enough. Like you said, losing that base is tough. Oh, man. Oh, the probes. Okay. Oh, they didn't. Still loses 10 of them. Very cheeky move from Big Gabe. He put 2 of those Widowmines down, faked sending the other 2 to the natural, and then dropped a 3rd to try and bait Hero back in. If that 3rd Widowmine shot had been about maybe 3/4 of a second later, he gets a huge kill. Now, this is actually really nice. Finding 5 Marauders in the middle of the map, that's very, very nice. It will be a disjointed fight to start things off. The one Raven that was low on HP, extremely low, did survive, and it will be able to potentially drop some interference matrices. Ooh, but hero's gonna step into his opponent. Zoning Storm. I mean, it allows him to disengage after the one interference matrix came down. This is messy, though. I think HeroMarine's really gaining momentum.
Yeah, it really is. That fourth base, there's no way it survives. There's now attempted storms here, but EMP's blanket everything. Storm, actually, you know, it gets a lot of Vikings, but doesn't get much more than that. And, well, only one class is firing anyways. It's a massive surround from HeroMarine. But even still, with the storms and just the random splash damage, it seems like Hero is gonna be able to fight back again. And Steadfast, I didn't see. Do we have extended thermal lance done? Because it doesn't feel like it. No, we don't. Okay.
We do not.
I mean, it's not +3 range, but I mean, even still, that's a massive thing that Hero's just missing.
Yeah, that's a really big oversight. And that's something that happens sometimes with Hero's gameplay, is that he is a truly chaotic player. He takes fights that a lot of players don't take, and he will micro his way through them. Hold that thought. We do see an attack coming in through the middle. Vikings snipe one of the Colossus. War Prism gonna go down. Disruptor shot. It's massive, but is it too little too late? It just might be. HeroMarine still maintains a 40 army supply advantage.
I mean, I can't believe that Hero's still in this game. It's so many disasters, so many. Like, he's lost his fourth base 2 times now. It's so rough. But it seems like every time something really wrong happens, he's able to find some value. And actually, you know what? That fourth base was actually never canceled. I thought it was going to be, or never killed the second time. So that's still live. That's not in production. His HeroMarine, he's got a drop getting ready into the main base here. 3 medevacs full, and the cannon is not going to buy all that much time at all. So this is a base killing force here. This Nexus is dead. There's no recall. So, yeah. Fourth base, technically it's dead because it's in the main base now, and the fourth base goes down here as well. HeroMarine only has 2 bases, and it doesn't feel like he can easily win either fight anyway. So now the medevacs, they get out. It's another dead Colossus here. Still battery overcharge, can't keep you alive. There's no anti-air, Steadfast. It's gonna be everything. At least the Colossus will fall eventually. Hero, it feels like finally we have a dead Hero in this game.
Yeah, some big disruptor shots there at the end. It's too little too late at this point. Losing 2 bases. HeroMarine has 4th base done and is about to land. The only thing Hero has is this big clump of disruptors. And, you know, if there's one unit in a game that can do something for you, it is disruptors. But we've already got some liberators coming out. There's 4 at a time, and liberators are going to deal with that very well. Hero trying to snipe the one liberator. Good disruptor, well, good disruptor attempts. But even on the other side of the, wow, they're pretty decent disruptor shots. But here is what I was about to mention, is that drop on the other side. That's going to get in here. That is going to crush the natural expansion. There's basically just 1 mining base for now. Well, HeroMarine, though, not paying attention. Oh my God, it's another massive shot. It's only an 8 army supply lead now. 11 as I literally say that, but hello?
Okay, so Hero has 1 Nexus. He's got a second one on the way. He's not mining at all. It doesn't matter. Like, he has no money. But he's got a pretty decent army. That being said, I don't think he's got a lot of stalkers. And with Liberators now, he gets some medevac. That's nice. There are so many Liberators on the map right now, and HeroMarine continues to build them 2 by 2. These disruptors are not nearly as powerful as they might otherwise be, so you just can't get him in range of anything. HeroMarine, though, does commit. That's a couple more disruptor shots. He gets Ghost, he gets everything else. HeroMarine doesn't have to take that fight. He can just slow siege. He can take this game slow, but seems like he's just injected a little bit of that disease that has infected Hero. Just aggression. And for the most part, it's worked. But that is also how Hero may find his way back into this game if HeroMarine overextends himself just a little bit too far. But Steadfast, that overextension is going to have to be so far that I don't even know that Hero could do that.
It would have to be a huge mistake, especially with the Liberator transition. Now, yeah, HeroMarine, it does feel like he's feeling maybe a little bit of this weird pressure. Oh, he's going to jump on 2 disruptors. Third one does get a decent little connection. And I mean, it just feels like Hero's been dead for so long, but he's like making it. He's keeping himself alive. Something we haven't mentioned, though, is that it's 3-1 upgrades versus 1-1. It is a big upgrade advantage. Ooh, Liberators do get caught out a little bit here. 3 Liberators going to go down for very little. And Disruptor shots. Oh, nice dodge from Big Gabe. HeroMarine will get out of there with that little medevac. I mean, the upgrades, Disruptors don't care about the upgrades, but that's a big army.
Yeah, that being said as well, I appreciate the idea of the Colossus, right? It's Liberators against Colossus, but again, there's no extended thermal lance, so you don't have that range advantage that you might otherwise have. Colossus are nice, certainly, but they're not nearly as good as Liberators as they might otherwise be. That being said, HeroMarine's going, that is what? Like 30 army supply that's just not there. That HeroMarine's gonna find. Now, granted, you kind of wait. You have Marauders, concussive shells are great, but those are more dead medevacs. And every time I look at this, I'm like, there's no way Hero wins this, right? It's just absolutely a problem. He's going to go for it. Now, these Disruptors aren't really going to land. And now, well, it's +1 Colossus versus +3 Disruptor shot. That one's going to be nice, though. But now cutting down the ramp here, Steadfast. HeroMarine feels like it feels like this has got to be it. But Hero is still going to fight here. He's still got 2 Colossus. Stalkers are going to blink backwards. There's a second Colossus. Wait, is he going to win this fight? Barely no. Barely not. HeroMarine finally pushes it in. But I was believing until the last second. What?
That was...
What?
Jeez. That was a situation where he was dead for like 7 minutes, 8 minutes. And Hero nearly just dragged his own corpse through sheer force of will into space. Not even across the finish line. He nearly went into space with how bloody impossible that was. And he almost made it happen. That was a nutty game. And you could see that HeroMarine was starting to get a little bit frantic with some of his moves. He moved out of range of the Liberators, ate some big disruptor shots. That big flank attempt got stopped and stymied. If there's like 2 more disruptors at the very end there, and HeroMarine tries to take that fight, and the second Colossus shows up, I think Hero might just crush the army, kills every medevac. And then all of a sudden, we're talking about how Hero has the comeback of the tournament in the 3rd game on the Beast stream.
I mean, maybe, just maybe, we're going to have better comebacks than that. But, man, I don't even think he needs 2 more disruptors. Just give him another round of Warpins. 8 more Zealots, and he smashes that fight. Let's just, like, slimmest of margins. And this was a Hero who had 4, 5 Nexus sniped over the course of the game. He had 2 more canceled. It was down a solid, what was that? Down a solid 2, 3 upgrades. Everything was going wrong for him. And somehow he almost makes the comeback happen. And if I'm Gabe there, I don't know how I'm feeling about this now, because it's like I have done everything. I've done everything that I should have done to make this happen. Like, oh man, and yet somehow still HeroMarine barely makes that game happen. On, by the way, a map that is a solid Terran map. When we talk about Babylon, we're moving into, I think it was Altitude next. I forget exactly what map 2 was, but certainly it was a bigger map. This is what it feels like, a Pyrrhic victory. It feels like something where it's like, yeah, you know, HeroMarine, you won that game, but good luck on the rest of them.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel too. That definitely felt like a losing win in a weird way. But we have spawning down in the bottom left. He did still take the map. Can he continue the momentum? It is Mousesport's HeroMarine.
And the upper right in the blue, almost making the most incredible comeback in game 3 of the tournament. He is for Dragon Kites of Gaming, HeroMarine.
Yeah, that was genuinely wild. We just saw a tiny little taste of the magic of Hero, where you're looking at the army supply and you're looking at him and you're like, he's dead. He's down 30 supply. He's dead. He's down 40 supply now. He's dead. He's like, he can't possibly hold this push. There's no way. There's no way. There's no way. Wait a minute. He just killed 20 supply. Wait a minute. He just got huge disruptor shots. Wait a minute. No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And he does that. And he's literally doing that for like 8-9 minutes of the game. And he gets within an inch of actually bringing it back, only for it to fall short. Oh man, this is a big test of mental resilience. Oh, and look at this HeroMarine. Okay, he does open up double gas, but he did not scout. Hero saying, I don't care. And look at this. He went for the early probe scout, so he forces the barracks out of the wall. Oh, this is dangerous right now for HeroMarine.
Yeah, and on top of that one, this is okay. So we're gonna see the factory in the wall. Oh, probe!
Oh no! Oh,
It goes down anyways. The massive thing about this that we're seeing this build from HeroMarine. This is not the max specs build that you may remember, where it's all about the zealots. And he's building a zealot right now. I understand. This is about the stalkers, right? You build one stalker at home, you build one stalker on the other side, you rally them across, and it's actually a lot of pressure early on. It almost always denies the natural. It makes it really hard. You can get a supply depot if the repair's not there, if there's not a bunker. And against a heavy Reaper commitment, we got a second Reaper on the way, and this feels like it wants to be kind of some sort of Hellion Reaper idea. The fact that it's actually going to be a depth steadfast. That's against Reapers and Hellions. That's pretty solid.
It's adepts or stalkers. It's kind of you know, dealer's choice. The big thing is that it is unscouted for now, and it is a reactor behind this. There's no bunker, and okay, the depot lift does come up. That was pretty important. Command center will get canceled, as you alluded to, and that needs to happen. But I think we need to see a bunker as well on the high ground. He's gonna try and get away with one without building one. And that is a little bit bold. There is a gold base behind it. Ooh, nice grenade for HeroMarine. He needs to keep these Reapers alive. If he loses even a single unit before the Widowmine is out, things get really sketchy.
He should, right? The Zealot tanks a little bit, but with this wall and the ability to kind of head backwards and forwards. Oh, he's going to get the Widowmine made? Oh, man, misses the shot. But now you just sacrifice the Zealot. And Zealot was not all that useful anyways, and the pressure continues. Hellion, lots of damage there. And this is starting to feel pretty good for HeroMarine, and all he has to do, by the way, is just keep his opponent at home, because you talked about it. There's a gold base. That's very vulnerable. But if you can kind of keep this position alive as it is right now, if you can keep HeroMarine at home, that can buy you time to recall it, to start to find value to that one. But the moment that pressure is released, it becomes a problem. Now, though, Hero, I mean, okay, that is greedy from HeroMarine there to get the tech lap, but he's going to get away with it.
Yeah, if the Adepts had shaded in right at that moment, that could have been pretty unfortunate. It could have been really tough. Oh, Widowmine will be forced to unburrow, so he trades the lowest HP Adept for it, because the Adept did still go down. Now, with the Stalkers here, this is starting to get really troublesome. Nice usage of the Shades right there to provide a little bit of extra high ground vision, and this is why you need a bunker. You really do need that bunker even now. The just continued unit production has become a huge problem. The fact that the Widowmines went down is what is allowing this to continue to find value. Hero's doing really well with this. Now, I do think we've seen a recall onto the gold base, I think.
Yeah, it looks like that. The economy really starting to go up for Hero here. Now, the tank stops steadfast, and that should eventually be kind of the end of this Stalkers on the ramp, right? You don't want to be a bunch of Stalkers on the ramp against a siege tank. It's really rough, but now we're moving into round 2 of what Hero wants to do here. He's got Blink a third of the way done. You're right, he has that recall on the gold. And if you're HeroMarine, I mean, how in the world do you bust out of this? Medevacs, you got to go for some sort of like pressure relief drop, but he's got a tech lab on that starport. He's got a Raven. It's going to be a long time before he makes that happen. That being said, the prospect of a 3-1-1 type of push here is powerful. Hero is going to struggle maybe to hold that gold. So what do you do if you're Hero and you got one gold base steadfast? You take a second.
Yeah, yeah. The one thing I will say is that Hero's game plan on this map is super telegraphed. And I really hope we see something different. I don't want to be predicting the future. I want to be wrong. But what I've seen a lot from Hero on this map specifically is he takes the double gold, he gets a ton of charge lots, and then he YOLOs into 2 base Terran and throws away his army repeatedly. Now, I really hope that is not what we see. But as soon as I saw that gold base, that memory flashed into my brain. And I really hope that he can chill a little bit. Now, this is a really nice scouting probe right there. Spots a Banshee. There is a shield battery at this base, so it's actually going to be relatively well prepared for this. Ironically, you don't want to move away from the base. Oh, and that's going to be 2 dead probes. It's already not bad for the Banshee. There's that charge upgrade coming on in. HeroMarine, he'll have studied his opponent. He'll know that this is how Hero tends to play this particular map. I really hope we see Hero able to temper the aggression.
The fastest Hero. you're not going to see him temper the aggression. He's going to go, like, if anything, he's just going to get even more aggressive. Here's the auto turrets on the right side. Probes, actually, you know what? They're doing a fairly good job there of trying to be as greedy as possible, tank some shots, and then, you know, on the shield battery, but still, 3 workers go down. And the problem with what we're seeing here, Marine, showcase the problem with this setup, if he's ever allowed on the map. Because look at the positioning from herO right now. He's got 1 base on the far left of the map, 1 base on the middle right of the map, and then 1 base on the top right of the map. You can't cover all 3 bases. There is no way that you can defend all 3 against concerted aggression. So we're seeing damage happen. 3-4 workers go down, and granted, herO is up 7 workers. He is mining off the gold base. It's actually, the damage is not there yet, but we can very easily see a world where all of a sudden herOMarine is able to start to really find that value. Nice stalker positioning. He's the Widowmine Falls. But now, you know, we have upgrades ready for herOMarine. I believe Stim is done. Combat shields are done. He's got this 3-1-1 setup, and the army's just not quite ready for herO yet. I think he might have to give this gold up.
Yeah, it's going to be really tough for him. And you notice that herOMarine has gone so heavy on the Marines themselves, knowing that if his opponent plays heavy charge lot, mass Marine with Widowmines is going to be so good against that. Now, herO does lose the gateway there. He's going to try and use the Zealots, but look at how quickly they get gunned down by Man with Gun. Oh, and Stalker's on the other side, also getting taken down. herOMarine is really getting a lot of work done.
That he is in the shield battery overcharge. Okay, it is going to hit every stalker, but it's still just an awkward situation. And now the Robo goes down. +1 is done here. I mean, it's a nice concave for these stalkers. Absolutely. They blink on top of the tank, but the Marines are just going to start to gun them down. The tank finally falls steadfast, but I mean, you said it. The Man with Gun, powerful story indeed. The Raven drops an auto turret for even more power here. And it feels like just barely. No, actually, no. Another round of stalkers here. And herOMarine is not going to bust the base. I really thought he was going to, but that stalker, even as the stalkers went down, it actually works very well. And he gets the Raven too. You know what? That looked rough for herO, but he kind of makes it happen. He's still fine.
We did lose a stalker there to a Widowmine, bit of an unforced error after a nice little cleanup. Now, herOMarine is kind of stuck back on 2 bases a little bit. Oh, great scan right there, finds the observer. And that's a big problem because, like you said, herO is very stretched in terms of where he is on the map. He can't be everywhere. So he needs to know where his opponent's army is. I love that herOMarine has been trying to send little, small harassment setups to each base. Widowmine. Oh, unburrowing. Well, I guess you aren't expecting the stalkers over there, but now he knows the stalkers are over there, and he knows that his army is pretty exposed. Battery overcharge gets bought very early. Oh, herO, he's going to be forced to recall, and that's going to make the mobility a big issue for the future.
Yeah, I guess the other way to say that is he killed a Widowmine drop, took very little damage, and has his response on the other side, and is getting a little bit of the army here, but the stalkers have to blink backwards. So, yeah, he loses out some of the mobility, absolutely. But on the flip side, like, he does a very good job of making sure he really takes no damage anywhere, and those Widowmines, they're also going to get triggered. So now, herOMarine trying to push in. We have no splash. I mean, Archon, sure, fine, but Archon's a tanking unit against Terran. It's not a splash unit, not really. But these stalkers on the backside, like, I really like what they're doing. They're making it really hard for herOMarine to full send commit on the push, and that's just buying more time for herO. But I mean, even where's his splash damage going to come from? How is he going to deal with this just massive bio army as herOMarine gets to 150, 160 supply on all of his upgrades, on all of his just madness and insanity that he's trying to build? His Widowmine drop, it's going to be handled well. Like, again, we're going to lose 1-2 pros.
Yeah, herO is doing such a good job of dealing with these Widowmines, and I think you hit the nail on the head there. The way herO used those stalkers to kind of interrupt Big Gabe's push was extremely nice. And this gold base, it will go down, but herO is going to go straight up the gut. Is it the right call to go into the natural? Ooh, I don't know. Huge Widowmines hitting a lot of Zealots and a lot of SCVs. herO is going to break right through. And now this is where the fact that he's spread out is good, but also the fact that his recall is on cooldown is a problem. So this is a very weird situation that's going to be difficult for both players.
I think the recall is going to be ready pretty soon here, actually. So force field on the Rams. Nice. Steadfast, there are okay, medevacs are there now, but they were very slow behind. And now we're going to see that orbital maybe go down here. Starks playing on top of the medevacs. How many are there going to get? Seems like none for right now, but the Archons are actually firing for once. They're starting to find some value, but now it's just mission get out of dodge here. Force fields are nice. Archons finding value as well as they can. It's 42 dead SCVs steadfast. The Stalkers, they can just blink on the low ground. You're going to lose a Sentry. You're going to lose a Zealot. But it's going to be a dead Orbital here. This is incredible for HeroMarine. Sure, he loses a gold, but it's a gold base that has paid for itself. That was, I think, 3 mineral patches remaining. HeroMarine had almost mined it out. He kills the third base. He does heavy damage to the natural. Blinks on top, gets the Liberator, and HeroMarine, steadfast, it feels like he's just done it here. The Archons are finding value. Medivacs are just flying on top, looking to soak damage, and HeroMarine plays an incredible game 2. We're going to game 3.
Oh my God. HeroMarine does it in the most hero way possible, doing absolutely bonkers, wild, crazy aggression, but microing his way through it. What an absolute god of StarCraft he is. And Big Gabe at this point, oh my God, I can only imagine what's running through his head. He's got to be feeling just terrible, considering how game 1 ended, the last like 4 or 5 minutes of it, and how game 2 goes. At this point, you got to be feeling like, because HeroMarine's game plan was really solid, but HeroMarine just out-executed.
That he did. And the fact that HeroMarine won that game, I think as the GG was typed, I think he was still down army supply. Now, granted, 10 army supply was in medevacs or something like that, and obviously army supply doesn't tell the entire tale of the tape, but he was down pretty significantly the majority of that game. You know, just very, very, that was the most hero game I've ever seen. You know, you take both golds, you go for a base trade, it's fine, it's dandy, you micro around, you dance around, and you just show this incredible ability to skirt the edge of how aggressive you can be. And sometimes HeroMarine, maybe a more hero game would be going too aggressive and losing his entire army, but it's the most hero winning game that we've seen.
Yeah, and he got the job done. That's all it ultimately boils down to, is he got the job done. Now, obviously, we actually did see an interesting reaction. Funnily enough, HeroMarine looked more upset after that win than HeroMarine did of losing, you know? Now, I know, for example, well, I don't want to be too speculative, but I'm pretty confident HeroMarine is still reacting in his head. He just didn't show it on stream. I'm still thinking he's like, oh my God, this guy, like, you got to be kidding me. But let's see, this is a hell of a series already. And we have got 2 monsters spawning up in the top left. Monster number 1 for Mouse Sports, it is HeroMarine.
And in the bottom right, in the blue, Sparta skirting, just treading on that thin line between victory and disaster over and over again. For Dragon Kites the Gaming, it's HeroMarine. Steadfast, it's Grespon. It's the map we talked about, the map that we love, and we're gonna get it here. Now, granted, just because it's Grespon, just because it's this awesome map, these are 2 very aggressive players, and it's not necessarily a guarantee that we're gonna have that expansive 20, 30 minute taking the entire map and create incredible macro game. But as game 1 showed us, even if it's not an expansive macro game, because neither player is able to kill each other, because they're that good, we can have those crazy games anyways. So as we move into Grespon, as we move into this big map, how do you expect things to change? We're going to see Nexus before core again, it seems like, from HeroMarine, so leaning into the big map.
Yeah, and HeroMarine, for his part, going for the double gas opener once again. Now, the funny thing about it, and we did see it in game number 2 a little bit, is even against something like a proxied second gateway, the double gas opener is not a guarantee. You still need to see it coming. Now, granted, HeroMarine, he did a good job. He went for the cancel on the command center, which was, and he didn't hesitate. He didn't try and hold it. He knew there was no way. But the lack of a bunker did make things a little bit tricky for him. And something else that we haven't talked about at all during this series, and I don't want to harp on it too much, is that the ping that HeroMarine is used to playing with, he only plays EU ladder. Only plays on the EU server. It is consistently the same ping every single game for him in his practice. So for him to even play with even like 10 different ping would make things very complicated for him. But apparently you were saying It's probably closer to about 80 ping. So this is like a 50 ping difference from what he's used to. That can definitely throw you off when you're really, really used to playing a certain way. So I think that might be why we're seeing a couple of the missteps from HeroMarine.
Yeah, that actually is an advantage that we don't talk about enough for Hero, because Hero plays EPTNA all the time. He plays in all of these tournaments across the world. He has a ton of experience playing on, suboptimal, not just playing, winning on suboptimal situations there, and kind of adapting and dealing with it. So you're right, that may end up being something that works out for Hero just a little bit. But for now, HeroMarine's going to run across the map, 2 Reapers, a Hellion, an Expeditionary Force. Get a probe or two if you're really lucky. Maybe you get something more than that. But the interesting thing here that we see out of Hero in this game is the fact that for the first time in this series, he's gotten Starport or Stargate, and he's got to beat Oracles. But out of this, do you think we see Phoenix out of this, or is this just, hey, it's Oracles, it's tempo, it's map control, and behind that standard kind of Oracle into Blink type of idea?
That is a really good question. Oh, Hellion. Oh, the scout does get denied. Okay, this is actually a pretty... Oh, okay, well, he shows the Oracle, but getting all 3 early game units for no damage, well, that's pretty nice. That's worth showing your Oracle for, I would say, and wiping off the scouting information. And because Hero, like you said, went Cybernetics Core before... Nexus before Cybercore. This is actually a really nice economic position. He's already up 10 workers, and HeroMarine will need to get something done with this Cyclone Marine drop. As far as the follow through, I think we see it already, but Phoenix Colossus just is the way things are played now in this matchup. HeroMarine is going to sneak in here with this. Hero does not anticipate the drop, and he's got no shield battery. He's got no units in position. This will be a couple of dead probes. This is actually not as bad as I thought. Only 2 dead probes. Yeah, that's kind of fine.
Yeah, the big early as we talk about this build, I'm really excited to... Oh, I thought I saw an Immortal on production. Anyway, the big issue with this build is that Big Gabe has so many pushes with on like a base and a half, 2 bases with Vikings and Cyclones and a bunch of other stuff against specifically Stargate openers. And we're seeing HeroMarine do that, right? The Vikings onto the other side of the map. You add a Raven now eventually. You add tanks and Marines, and he just doesn't want to let Hero get in his happy places. Now he's gonna get, actually good, this is a great move from Hero. He's gonna get 2 Cyclones. And that is so much of the power of this push. That is so much of the ability for HeroMarine to shove down and knock all these Stargate units down. And now this is Hero that is pushing onto the other side. Now don't run into the high ground. Don't run into the tanks with so much anti-air there. But even still, feels like the legs of this push from HeroMarine have been just cut out from under them immediately. Hero knew what the mission was, and he's been very successful in defending that.
Yeah, this is a really nice start for Hero here. Obviously killed those first couple of early game units quite quickly and cleanly, and now he's looking really solid. And we're going to be seeing a 5 racks out of HeroMarine, but Hero is already getting into Colossus, and this time he does not forget his extended thermal lance. He's got the 3rd Nexus on the way. I've got to say, as far as setups go, this is looking about as ideal as you can get, and he even gets in before the missile turret completes. Oh man, getting SCVs in a situation like this is so nice for Hero. Oh, but he is going to lose the Oracle. That is less nice.
Oh, is he? Oh, no, he's not. No, he's not. It's calculated Steadfast. He gets out on 8 HP.
And the scan sees it and it's like, nya, 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 nya.
This is when, if you're on ladder right now, by the way, for those of you that are not aware, Oracles have probably the best dance animation in the entire game. They turn on the disco ball. It's fantastic. That's, if you're scanned like that and this is a ladder game, slash dance that.
Yeah, you dance
look,
that.
My Oracle's alive. Like, mental breaks.
Oh my God. That is really frustrating. Now, okay, HeroMarine has recognized that it's going to be Colossus, so he is going for Vikings. No add-ons on the barracks right now. Hero is trying to get into a Templar Archives. He will not have charge for a very long time, and he doesn't have a lot of gateway units. We can see on the units tab, there is a ton of Marines. There is a Raven. This is going to be tricky. It will be a big deal whether the Phoenixes are able to snipe that Raven before the Colossus come in. And will Hero somehow be able to buy time for charge? I'm assuming he's got it on the way. But this is a very dedicated 2-base push from herOMarine. He will need to make it happen with this.
Yeah, and the problem is herO, it's going to be hard for the Phoenix to get the snipe, right? Because they're sitting at home. But actually, as I say that, herO wants to get a little bit just exploratory on the middle of the map here. He knows that herOMarine's army is on the... These Marines are so exposed. A couple Colossus shots are going to be beautiful here. The tank's not firing. They're just not in position. I thought it might have gotten a little bit more there. Of course, herO doesn't want to move too far forward. But by itself, these shots from these Colossus are just wreaking havoc on this army of herOMarine. And if hero's allowed to do this 1 or 2 more times, the push from herOMarine is just... It feels in risk of getting stalled already. So many Marines are dead, Steadfast. This is not how herOMarine wanted to play this.
No, it certainly is not. He wanted to take a much stronger position without losing anything, but he's already in some big trouble, and Charge is getting really close and bleeding. But the Raven does still have full energy. Oh, the feedback is huge. That is such a clutch warp into that High Templar for the feedback. And now he's going to be able to morph an Archon as well. That's going to be a high-value unit. The tanks are a little bit far back to cover the Vikings. herO going very far forward, does lose the Disruptor, but this is looking extremely good for herO to start things off. He will lose... Did he lose a Colossus there? I think he did. But does he still have battery overcharge?
No, I believe that was spent, but the big deal there, we saw the Zealots. Yeah, they're ready, Steadfast. Great, fine. They run around a corner, they get siphoned off, and they die immediately here. And it looked like it was going to be a great fight for herO, but herOMarine still has that push ready. The Vikings now, they're a little diminished a little bit, but herOMarine continues to run forward, and that missile turret makes it so hard for the Phoenix to join the fray. So this third base is under heavy threat now. The probes are going to have to get pulled here, and herO has to break this right now. No Zealots get on the left side. They're going to start to knock these tanks down. Bio, they'll get on top of the last of the Colossus, and the Disruptor shot gets saved here. All of a sudden, herOMarine's pressure still finds value. The Colossus are down, only 1 Viking here. And now herOMarine, you set back up for a second. You get maybe another tank. You get another round of production. And this actually doesn't look all that bad for a German Terran.
It's weird. It's kind of a full reset for both sides, and this game is still very much up in the air. We do see big attacks coming in from both sides. The drop in the main base, that save where he got the hot pickup against the Disruptor shot was big, but the Zealots on top of this army, that's a huge find for herO. Getting a siege tank, and he's going to be able to run down a lot of this bio. We see herO trying to rally in on top of it. Meanwhile, the Phoenix is going to find this fully loaded medevac. Oh, that's a big find, and all of a sudden the supplies, they go from very even to, well,
very even.
Actually, yeah, very even again. It was a big swing. I still think herO is in an amazing position now.
Yeah. If herOMarine had been able to keep that tank and keep those Marauders and keep the medevacs and everything else, I think his follow-up timing could have been very powerful. But as it stands, it's 2 tanks to the 3. And by the way, you want to talk about breakpoints. 3 tanks are where you really start to wear Colossus down, even through shield battery overcharge, because of the change made up right before Katowice. So the fact that we're only looking at 2 tanks there, that's pretty significant. That being said, though, we're getting 2 Liberators on the way at a time here for herOMarine, and Blink is a third of the way done, right? Blink is far off. For the most part, the Phoenix have been dealt with. I think they're like 2 on the map right now. I don't think any more were made. So the fact here that herOMarine has this kind of overlapping zones of fire, right, of tanks and Liberators, all of a sudden this army is maybe even more powerful than its supply says it is. And by the way, this drop has kind of pulled herO out of position. That's a lot of the army in the main base outside of the 4th that is not going to be able to deal with this pressure onto the 3rd, and this is yet more economic damage.
It is more economic damage, but this is also a lot of herOMarine's army, and he can't afford to lose it. He is going to try and out-multitask herO a little bit, but he loses the medevacs on the top side. The bottom side drop will get recalled against, and as you mentioned, Blink and +2 are on the way. Those are big timers for herOMarine. herOMarine is running out of money. He's landed his main command center at the 3rd. This is still a 2-base all-in. He is still not on a great economy. hero's been outmining him by a lot for a while, and now herO will get a little jump on these medevacs, and he's going to get one of them. It's honestly getting the medevac is almost more valuable than getting the Marines at this point. Like, every medevac is so important.
Yeah, and now at this point, herOMarine is just, he's got his 3rd base. Yeah, oh, not really. It's the main base over to the 3rd. He's still on 2 orbitals, but it almost feels that despite that, you know, generally floating over, says, I need to go. Yeah, I'm gonna hold that thought here because here comes herO. There are 4 tanks here, but the Phoenix, they just lift them all up. And now Marine's find a great position actually on the Zealots as they charge in, and it doesn't matter. Despite that position, despite hiding behind the tank, there's so little army left for herOMarine. And with this Colossus here, it's a one-way turn right now. You gotta lift up, you gotta run somewhere else. And herO, he just needs Blink to come off cooldown, really get on top of those Liberators, knock them down. The Disruptor just barely doesn't land. And is this herOMarine's timing? I don't even know what it is. Now drop it. The probes are getting pulled, and they're handling this to some extent. That just, that doesn't feel good.
Yeah, no, at this point, herOMarine needs more than a miracle. He needs a triple miracle. It's not going to happen. We do see a blink forward into the Liberators. Not the best move, but it doesn't matter. herO's got overwhelming supply, and he will take game number 3. And with it, he will move up to 1-0. It was a messy series, a scrappy series, but I am so glad we got to cast it because it was a very fun series.
Yeah, and Steadfast, would you say that herOMarine needed an incredible miracle to take that 3rd game?
I would say he needed a Dragon Kaitsu Gaming.
Well, of course, we do have, a bunch of former incredible miracle players playing in the StarCraft 2 Legends tournament on Saturday. I am MVP, which is very exciting. But yeah, that was a fantastic game coming out. And by the way, as we come back to ourselves here, I want that Dragon Kaitsu Gaming jacket. Like, that's actually one of the nicer bits of like team gear that we've seen kind of in recent memory. herO's looking good, like in game, but also out of game.
Yeah, it's it looks nice. I like it. It's sleek. And nice to see him at the very end there. As I think that was Maru who came over. Somebody with an onside gaming jersey. It doesn't really matter too much, but we did see him smiling a little bit there, showing his namesake as the smiling assassin. And I mean, for most of that series, he was definitely more assassin than smiling because he really had that killer instinct. And, sometimes it didn't work out for him, but it's weird to say. I feel like he almost won the series when he was losing game 1.
Yeah, certainly. So let's take a look at it. You talk about winning games, losing games, and everything that happened. Let's take a look at what happened in that series, and particularly the insanity that was game number 1. Because, I want to, these highlights are great, right? We can see the push here from herOMarine, the drops, all the crazy storms, everything. I'm just waiting for that final fight because I kind of want to take a second look at it. It was so close.
It was a surprising setup here. We saw some really big storms coming in as well from herO that got a lot of work done. That Raven surviving with like 1 HP that would I don't know if it became a factor later, but we did have some really big disruptor shots. I've just got word, by the way, that we will find or we will be having an interview with one of the players after this, which is pretty awesome. You mentioned it before, those 6 or 7 stalkers that kind of intercepted a little bit of the reinforcements. I feel like that was the game-winning move in game number 2. There was a lot of moves that were made and countered and was kind of punch and counter punch. But I feel like those stalkers, you really pointed out perfectly, they were so clutch because they actually disrupted things and then caused herOMarine to kind of slow and stall out his push at a really critical timing when it felt like herO was really weak. And if that doesn't happen, maybe we're looking down the barrel of a 2-0.
Yeah, it was such a dearly fought series. And I mean, I don't think that should surprise anyone, right? herO is, again, he's the best Protoss player in the world, but herOMarine in this matchup on these timings that he's able to hit he's not the best Terran in the world, right? That is Maru, but TVP, 6 to 10 minutes, maybe. I would argue that herOMarine is actually the best player in the world in that specific slice of the game. So we got to see that happen. It was fantastic. I mean, we've had 2 series, but of the 2, certainly the best series we've had thus far.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And it's not like the first series was bad. It was just that Cure kind of popped off super hard. And Spirit struggled a little bit. So it sounds like actually we will not be getting an interview for this match, but we will be having, sorry to lie to you there, folks. We will be having some interviews in the future for sure. Definitely that will happen at some point. I say that, and now I've got another promise that I can break. So the broken promises, hashtag esports. But no, we will be getting into another series shortly. But for now, yeah, it's gonna be one of the most anticipated series, I think, of the day. What do you think about Solar Oliveira coming up?
Oh man, I don't know how I feel about Solo. I mean, I'm excited about it. I'm certainly here to see the reigning world champion finally in LAN again after he missed Yanchiping. It's very exciting. But as I look at these two players, I mean, Solar's looked good. He made the round of 8 of the GSL. He ran into Maru again in the final match, and it's Maru in the GSL. You're not going to beat him. But I don't have a solid read on where Oliveira is right now. We haven't seen him in offline play. He hasn't been playing quite as much in online play as we may have seen in that crazy run up to Katowice. So I'm excited. He looked fantastic in the month after Katowice, playing in the WTL, everything else. But I don't have a solid read on how we expect this series to go. All I know is I bow down to the normal man. Like, the best story we've had in StarCraft in years. I was in the crowd at Katowice. I was crying. You were crying offline or crying from back at home. I mean, just the story is fantastic. I'm excited to see whether it happens again or whether Solar, continues this run of ZVT excellence. But for now, Steadfast, we do have to go to a bit of a break. After that, though, it's going to be Oliveira. It's going to be Solar. It's going to be a fantastic matchup. I'm so excited for it. But see y'all shortly.